Hello friends, foes and followers. Today I'm going to be talking about my March TBR because spring has not quite sprung, but it is doing something out there which hopefully is going to improve my motivation to read and my enthusiasm for life, if we're being honest. So I have 7 books that I'm hoping to get to in March. I did not quite finish my February TBR, but instead of letting you guys know what those books are that I didn't get to, I'm just going to roll them over. You'll see them in the vlogs, you'll see them in the wrap-ups, and today I'm going to be talking about the 7 new books I'm going to be adding onto my TBR. So notable things that are happening in March. Hopefully the bathroom renovation will be finished because it still is not, and I am losing my mind over here. And aside from that, we're going to South Korea at the end of the month. So there are a couple of books here that I'm taking on my trip that I will be reading late March, early April while we're in South Korea. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's the plan. But I do expect reading to be a little slower, obviously, over that period. We have lots of travel time, of course, but over the period we're actually in South Korea, don't anticipate I'm going to be reading too much. I'm expecting to have the time of my life, and outside of that, just being really tired. So getting into these 7 books that I hope to read, we will, of course, as usual, start by talking about the book clubs, and the first book club we always start with is Catch Up Book Club. So if you guys did not know, we are now moving on to a new John Gwynne series. We finished The Banished Lands world. We're starting the Blood Swan saga. Now, unusually for Catch Up Book Club, this is just a self-contained trilogy. You do not have to have participated in the John Gwynne read-along to date to pick up this first book with us, which is The Shadow of the Gods. I will link my announcement video for you guys so that you can get all of the details if you want to join. Our first live show for The Shadow of the Gods is going to be on the 15th of March on Zafina's channel. That is currently the plan. I will, of course, update you guys if anything changes, but that is what we're aiming for so far, and that is the date that you are aiming for if you're also participating with us. So I don't actually know too much about this. I'm going into it knowing that I've heard amazing things about it and that I've enjoyed everything from John Gwynne to date. John Gwynne is an author, an epic fantasy author who always has a historical focus to his books, and this one in particular deals with Norse mythology, and the only other thing I know about it is that we have a female, I'm going to assume a warrior, I don't know for sure if she is, but we have a female main character as well as some others because it is multi-perspective. But John Gwynne is very known for having a lot of mentor figures in his books, and they do tend to be male, so I'm really excited to read the same kind of character but a female character in this role in this new series. And from what I've heard just very briefly, she is a firm favourite character with the fan base, and I'm hoping that she becomes a favourite of mine as well. For my Patreon book club, I will be reading book 3 in the Legends of Thesmar series, which is Fate and Furies. This one is a romantasy series following a young woman who wants to be a Legend of Thesmar, which is an elite warrior that serves as a barrier between the monsters of the world and the people of the realm. However, there was a prophecy that a woman who wields a blade is going to bring about the end of the world, and so about 20-ish years prior to the start of the series, they stopped all women from being allowed to train. If you were already a war sword, you were kind of like stripped of your title and sent on to other positions. So our main character is trying to find a loophole and a way of entering the training academy that trains the war swords, which she does eventually do, and she ends up working closely with the grumpiest of the war swords, which is Wilder Hawthorne. And as this is a romantasy series, I feel like you can see where this is going. Now, book 2 was a smut-filled experience, let me tell you, but I have had it on good authority from some of you guys that tapers off in book 3 and 4, which I'm really happy about actually, because the second 2 books in this series are a little bit shorter than the rest, so I would really appreciate it if we could focus on the plot, because it was almost every 10% there was a sex scene in book 2. That's just too much. That's over my limit, personally. The last of my super mandatory reads is of course going to be my Patreon pick. So every member of the Inner Circle tier on my Patreon can recommend a book that goes into this mug, and every month I will pick one out and I will read it in the couple of months that follow. We have had a little bit of a refill over the last couple of months as I've replaced all of the ones that I'd already read organically or through recommendations in the last year, but I'm gonna go with this one. This is blue, and I'm struggling to remember my own color coding system, but I think blue means that it was added in 2025, so this should at least probably be a book that I own. Oh, this is Ash's pick, and it says check Patreon messages. Ash has given me like a list of prompts that I have to choose from. I think I have to like fulfill a set of conditions. It's all very exciting. Oh, I need to roll dice. I need to roll 2 6-sided dice. I have a list of prompts. Okay. So let's get out the old tray that I use for reading sprints. Oops. Let's just try that again, shall we? That is a 6. Ooh, number 6 is to read a book I want to unhaul, and I can DNF it. Ooh, a thriller. A thriller would be perfect. So this was actually really hard for me to pick because I have a bag, like I don't know if you can see them. Do you know the little book bags that I have? I have one of those upstairs that has Book of the Month thrillers in it, and that's my normal place where I go to pick a thriller. But I also do have some paperback thrillers that I feel like are getting neglected. And my thoughts on thrillers is that for me, they're typically very entertaining in the moment. I enjoy reading them, but I have no need to revisit them or keep them after they've been read, which is why this is a perfect contender for this specific prompt. So I was a little bit torn which way to go, but I actually just went upstairs to the bag. There was 6 books in it. I rolled a d6. We landed on 6, which I mean is perfect given that 6 gave us this prompt. And the 6th book in the bag was actually the chunkiest, which is Apples Never Fall by Leanne Moriarty. So this one is a Book of the Month book. It says contemporary fiction on the back. I'm pretty sure it is either a thriller or a mystery though. There is definitely a mysterious element going on here. I did read Big Little Lies and I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars, didn't blow me away, but it does also take a lot for a mystery or a thriller to impress me. And I do feel like I tend to rate them quite low. But this one is a standalone story, and it is following a couple, an older couple, who own a tennis academy, and they sell the tennis academy. They're ready to retire, and they have 4 adult children. And one day somebody who looks like they've been in a fight arrives on their doorstep and asks them for help. They give her help, but then the woman goes missing, and the children are wondering whether they should report the missing person who is their mother, because the most suspicious person is their father when this woman who came to the door in the first place is nowhere to be found. So it sounds like an interesting read. I've been putting this one off because in terms of like the mysteries and thrillers I've got, it is a thicker one. So I'm glad that it has come up, and thank you so much to Ash for that list of prompts because that was very, very fun. So I do have just 2 proof copies for March. One of them is an early finished copy, and that is Across the Vanishing Sky by Catherine Cowles. This is one that I picked up at a recent event that I attended. I have been off my contemporary romance game for a little while now, but this I believe is romantic suspense, and that is a genre that I feel like I can really gel with because when it comes to romance, I like something extra to be going on. Like I don't just want to read a story of 2 people falling in love with very little drama or obstacles in their way. Like it just doesn't really do anything for me, but anything that has something a little extra going on tends to really work for me. So romantic suspense is something that I've had my eyes on for a very long time. I'm also really interested in reading from Devney Perry as well because I loved their romantasy debut last year, which was of course Shield of Sparrows. So this one is a small term romantic suspense, which is what I think Catherine Cowles is known for, and it is following a single mother who I'm assuming is returning to the town where she grew up. This back says that she's returning to the town that took everything from her, and she, I'm assuming, is going to fall in love with the reclusive mountain man who lives next door, who is somebody who is going to step in to protect her when danger comes knocking, as she is also investigating her best friend's disappearance. And this one is released right at the beginning of March. I think it's March 3rd. And the other arc that I have is for right at the end of March. I think it's the 31st, and that one is Starside by Alex Astor. So Alex Astor is a pretty well-known author, but I'm pretty sure that this is her adult romantasy debut, and this is set in a world, or 2 worlds worlds, I think, with a veil between them. One is Stormside, and that is where mortals fight for scraps of magic, and the other is a land full of magic called Starside, and there is a veil that separates them, and once every so many years the veil opens and it allows 50 people through who will compete for magic that will allow them access to like wealth, success, I'm assuming whatever it is their heart desires. But our main character enters into this competition not to gain magic, but to destroy the gods that wield it. And if you guys saw my 2026 TBR, you may remember that I added 2 Korean fantasies to it, as I am of course going to be going to South Korea next month. Now is the perfect time to read those. These have been on my TBR for a little while now, and they're 2, considering the length of time that I've had, especially one of these, I'm still very, very enthusiastic to read it. So the one that I've had the longest is a young adult fantasy, and that is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. So this one is following a girl who is a gumiho, and she reveals her powers when she is saving a boy who is in trouble. I'm assuming he's like a human boy, but in the process of this she also loses her talisman, which is her gumiho soul, and without that she is going to die. So these two have to team up to get that back for her. And the other one is a little bit more recent. This is a fairy loot book from June 2024, and I'm so excited to get to this one, and it is The God and the Gumiho by Sophie Kim. So our female main character in here is a gumiho, and the male main character is a trickster god, but the gumiho has been in retirement for a while. I'm pretty sure she's just like working at a coffee shop minding her own business, and the trickster god is offered the opportunity, he's been banished from the heavens and he's offered an opportunity to return home if he kills the demon that escapes from the underworld and also the gumiho. But I'm assuming that this is a love story, because that is the way that these things tend to go. So those are all of the books that I currently have on my March TBR. As I said, I am going to be adding these to an existing stack of books that I'm already working through, but I'm actually quite happy with the progress that I made on my TBR in February. And a lot of these actually I think are going to be quite easy reads. I mean, I've already earmarked these 2 to read at a specific time, and these are the only books that I have earmarked for that. This one I'm really excited about. I think it's going to be a super easy, compelling read, and the same actually goes for Apples Never Fall. I might pick up an audiobook for this because I do like to go that route when it comes to mysteries and thrillers. And I'm actually quite excited about Starside because I haven't read from Alex Aster yet, and her first adult book is like the perfect entry point for me because I don't read a ton of YA anymore. I actually haven't read a young adult book at all this year. I have one still on my TBR rolled over from February, and I also have Wicked Fox, so one of those is definitely going to be my first. Book club books are probably the ones that are going to take up my time a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly how long The Shadow of the Gods is because I still need to order myself a copy, but I anticipate that one being the most time consuming of the lot. So down in my comments, please let me know what book you are the most excited to get to in March, and if you guys would just like to let me know you were here but you don't feel like you have anything to say, leave me a fox emoji for both Wicked Fox and of course The God and the Gumiho. But aside from that, guys, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, my Instagram, and my Patreon if you want to follow me on any of those. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.